Hey guys, it's Nick with Urban Farm Boys. I'm so excited to show you guys what I did today. I have been thinking about this for weeks. I've been doing tons and tons of granny squares over the last many months, as you guys know if you've seen any of my other videos. But I've been experimenting with some other things and watching tons of other people's content and the creative things that people do. And the other day I was just sitting there and I was like, you know what? I want to combine like 3 different ideas into one and just see what happens. And I did, and I'm so excited to show you guys. I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm going to show you how to make one of your own if you want. So a few of the sort of maybe trends or things that I've seen online recently have been everybody's making crochet chickens. Chickens are very in these days. People are doing a lot of beaded crochet, like beaded weighted crochet blankets. And then I found glow-in-the-dark yarn and beads. And I was like, So allow me to present you guys with my little creation, which is this beaded chicken, who also happens to glow in the dark. The yarn and the beads. Look at his little butt. I'm obsessed. It's possible someone else has created something like this, but I haven't seen one, and I feel like I invented it in my head using things other people have done, like different techniques and stuff. But here is a beaded, glow-in-the-dark crochet chicken. I'm obsessed. So I wanted to tell you all about how I made it. I'm going to show you guys how to make one of your own, and I also made him a couple of friends that I'll show you at the end. I'm so excited about this little bird. So let's get into how to make it, what you need, and then at the end we'll charge these guys. I hope it's dark now, but I think I can charge them in my lights, and then I'm going to take you into the darkness and see how they glow. All right, I've already made my first panel, and here it is. So this panel is approximately 8.5 inches square, a little more than 8. You can make it whatever size you want, but I'm going to show you how to do the other one because you need 2 panels to make your chicken. So the things you'll need are, if you want to make it just like I'm making, I will link everything in the description below. I found this glow-in-the-dark white yarn from Lion brand. It's called DIY Glow. I found it on Amazon. These are little skeins, 1.75 ounces or 50 grams, and it's 71 yards or 65 meters. This is 100% polyester, machine washable and dryable, which is nice. It's a 4 medium, it says. It's a little on the thin side, and it recommends a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. We will not be using hooks that big for this project, but you can get these on Amazon. You can use whatever yarn you want. If you want to do the glow in the dark, there's a bunch of different glow in the dark yarns. You'll have to see what works for you. And then I also got beads. These are also glow in the dark beads, also from Amazon. I think this package, yeah, it had 1,000 beads in it. I've used, I don't know how many, couple hundred. Buy whatever beads you want. If you want it to glow in the dark, these are on Amazon. I'll link them below. And then you're going to need 2 separate crochet hooks. So the thing you need to know if you're buying different yarn and different beads is buy whatever you want. You just have to make sure that you have a hook that will fit through the center of the bead. And I wanted this pretty tight as well for the chicken. I didn't want big gaps. So I looked through, I have the, what do you call it, Clover Amour hooks. I have like the whole set. So I ordered these beads, and then I went in and I tested all my small hooks to see which one would fit through the bead. And the biggest one that would do that is 3.75 millimeters. There were smaller ones that might be a little bit easier. You'll see when I do it. It's on the tight end, but it works no problem. I probably could have used a 3.5 millimeter, but I wanted my hooks to be about as similar in size as possible, just so that you don't get this like variation as you do your square. Do what works for you. Find a hook that your bead can go through, and then find another crochet hook. For these, I'm using a 4.5 millimeter and a 3.75 millimeter. And this square is an easy 2-row repeat. You do 1 row of half double crochet with the larger hook, and then in the beaded row you do single crochet with the smaller hook. So it's super easy. That's what you need. I have also my little measuring tape just because I wanted to make sure, because this isn't a square, like a granny square, I wanted to get it as square as possible. So I kind of measured it along the way. And then I just have this little plate. Andrew's mom bought this for us. This is actually for taking garlic, and it'll like grate your garlic, and then you can put olive oil or whatever and dip bread into it. You can also put, why am I telling you this? You can put balsamic vinegar in here, and it's kind of like a shell shape, and then if you put oil on top, the vinegar sinks into all the little things and a shell appears. I needed a little bowl for my beads, and I like this because it kind of like holds on to the beads so they don't move around too much. So that is what you need. Okay, so I think we're ready to get started. I think what I might do actually is readjust my camera so you can see from overhead how I do this, just at least to start it out. So give me a second, let's readjust. All right, y'all, I think we're ready. You can use whatever hooks, whatever yarn, whatever beads. You're gonna start with your larger hook size. And I'm going to just make a chain. Whoop, what's happening here? Okay. I'm just going to make a chain. You can chain whatever number of chains you want to get the length that you want. What I did with the last one was I chained 30. You just have to make sure you're doing multiples of 2 plus 1 at the end. Okay? So we'll start with a slip knot, and then I'm going to chain 31, okay? Whatever size works for you, so just chain until you feel like you have the right size in multiples of 2 plus 1 at the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's 30. Plus 1. I'm going to take the hook out for a second just because I want to compare this to my other one and make sure they look like they're the same. Okay, so this looks a little bit longer, but I have noticed, because these needles are so small, that it kind of tightens up as you go. So I think this will be fine. We'll do a couple rows and just verify, but I think this will be fine. Okay, once you have your foundation chain the length that you want it, you are going to just half double crochet all the way back across the bottom. And this blanket is super easy because you do 1 row of half double crochet, and then with your beads you do single crochet. Super easy. So you count 3 chains back from your hook, and we're gonna just half double crochet all the way back. There you go. So half double crochet, you just yarn over, draw up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops. Okay, yarn over, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull through all 3 loops. So you're just going to continue this all the way down until the very end. it's not a bad idea to be a little bit loose with your stitches because you're working with such small hooks, especially when you move down to the smaller one. You can be a little bit loose. But I think this blanket is absolutely, this blanket, it's going to be a chicken, it could be a blanket. It's absolutely beginner friendly. It's basic stitches. You're doing single crochet and half double crochet. And you don't really have to memorize anything. You just, once you're in your flow, it's super easy, you guys will see. So I think this is absolutely a beginner project. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my little half double crochets, and I'll meet you guys at the end. Okay, we've got our last stitch here. One last half double crochet. Oops, just banged my hat against the camera stand there. So we finished our last half double crochet. I'm going to bring my other one over here just to compare. But here's the thing. Yeah, this looks fine. Can you see that? Maybe just ever so slightly longer, but it does tighten up a bit, especially with those beaded rows. And here's the thing, guys. We're making this into a chicken, right? It's going to turn into a three-dimensional object. If it's just a little bigger on one than the other, no one is ever going to know, except for you, and you don't even have to care about it. And you can stretch these too, right? So you can make it work. So this is perfect. Row 1 is done. On to row 2. At this point, we'll switch hooks. Okay. For round 2, you change hooks, and then you chain 1 and turn your project. Okay. We're already getting started with the beads. I have my other half in front of me here because I'd like to do my beads in the same color order just because I like that consistency. And if you can see what I did, I have my colors here. There's not, I think I have 14 beads per row, and it repeats after 9 beads. But what you get then, if you guys can see, is you'll get this sort of striping effect. When I get to the end of my row, I started on blue here, so then on the next row I just look at what the second one in that row was and I start there. So pink was my second one here, I make it my first for this row. Green was my second one in that row, so for the third row I start with green, and so on. So I'm going to see if I can get them the same. No one's going to notice if you mess it up. Or you can do whatever kind of pattern you want. You could do all one color per row. The world is your oyster. But for row 2, and it's a 2-row repeat. So this is our beaded row. We did our chain 1 and we've turned, and you're going to start by doing a half double crochet in that very first stitch right there. Okay, so yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3. Now this beaded row is just going to alternate between half double crochets and single crochets. So we started with that half double crochet. Now it's time for a bead, and I'm going to get a blue one. Put them on your hook however you want. Just get it on your hook, and we're going to single crochet into the next stitch. I want to make sure you guys can see that. So my next stitch is right here. My lighting is just a little bit shadowy, so I'll do it a few times for you guys. But you single crochet, pull up that loop, and then here you just have to get your hook through everything. So we go through that yarn, through the bead, and because I'm using a hook that's a little tight, I use my hand to help me, and then through that last loop. You see? We'll do it plenty more times. After your beaded row, you do a half double crochet into the next stitch. And you can be a little bit loose because this hook is tighter. That was a double crochet, sorry guys. I'm a winner. I've been doing another project all afternoon with double crochet. Sorry. So yarn over through the next stitch, pull up a loop, and come through all 3. Okay, and you'll see your bead is sitting right there. It doesn't get more complicated than that, guys. So you do a half double crochet between beads and a single crochet with the bead. So my next color is this brighter pink. Pull up that bead through the next stitch and pull up a loop. Yarn over and come through that first loop, come through your bead and come through the next loop. And then half double crochet, and that next sort of half double crochet really secures the bead. You see? The next color is green. I have noticed with my beads that I don't have very many of these dark greens. It's really annoying. But again, bead on the hook, into the next stitch, and pull up a loop. Yarn over, come through the first loop, come through the bead, and come through that last loop. And then half double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, you see the pattern there? Next color is the lavender sort of color. You see? I do have to guide it a little bit through with my fingers, as you've seen. If you had a slightly smaller hook, it might be easier for you. I would maybe, if you're buying this same yarn, try it with a 3.5mm crochet hook. It might be slightly easier. It doesn't bother me, but it might bother you. As long as it's small enough, the hook, to get through the bead, you should be fine. You see? Now this yarn is a little snaggy, I will say. It splits. So do your best, or if you have another type of yarn, you might not deal with that so much. It does help with, especially going through the beads, to hold your tension a little tighter so that you can kind of slip through the beads and the yarn a little bit more easily. But once you get your rhythm going, it's very straightforward. Single crochet with a bead, and half double crochet after the bead. Single crochet with a bead, and half double crochet after the bead. So I'm just going to repeat this until I get to the end, and I'll meet you over there. Once you've reached the end of your row, this is the only thing to kind of remember, is that you'll do a half double crochet to secure your bead, and then you'll do one more half double crochet, and your it might be a little tricky to find your loops there at the end, but just do your best. So at the end of your beaded rows, otherwise it's gonna not be straight, you do one additional half double crochet there, and that'll keep your work straight, even, and balanced. You see there's just a little bit of extra here on this side, a little bit of extra on that side. Okay, let me show you what to do now that the beads are in place, because from this moment on it's a 2-row repeat and it actually gets even easier. So you switch hooks, you chain 1 and turn, And we're now, oops, let me fix my yarn here. We're now back in our half double crochet row. And let me make this super easy for you guys. You're going to half double crochet all the way across before each bead and after each bead. Before and after. So just if you watch, you'll see here, I put the hook just before that bead. You kind of can slide it along next to the bead and half double crochet. And you do it again right after the bead. You see that? Just before the bead and just after the bead. Under that stitch, right? So you're bringing up those two loops, but you go on either side of the bead. Before the bead, after the bead. Super easy. This is your repeat. It'll be like this the rest of the way. So we'll go ahead and half double crochet our way to the end. And I'll do maybe one more set here with you guys zoomed in, just so you can see what it looks like. But it's super duper easy. You're not looking for stitches or anything. You're just going right next to the bead on either side. If you can do a half double crochet, you can do this blanket or this chicken or whatever you're gonna do with it. So let me get to the end of the row and I'll meet you there. Once you get to the end of your row, you're gonna do that half double crochet just on the side of your last bead. And then you gotta do one more half double crochet. And it can be a little hard to see your two loops there, so sometimes I like to just turn it. Your loops are right there. So we'll wiggle our hook underneath those two loops and do one last half double crochet. You see? You guys know how to do the blanket. That's it. You want me to do one more? Maybe I'll do another bead round and then another double crochet round. And then I'm gonna actually plant myself on the sofa where it's a little more comfortable to finish this up, and then I'll come back to you guys. But we'll do one more. So at the end of the row, you switch hooks, you chain one. Doesn't really matter which hook you chain with. They're almost the same size. And then you do a half double crochet into this first stitch right here to start. I try to get it a little bit loose. And then we're gonna repeat. So if you're doing what I'm doing, I started with blue in the last round, so I'm gonna start with pink in this round, and that'll give you that kind of spiral effect. Okay. And then we single crochet. And then after it, we half double crochet. Once you get toward the end of your row here, if you're wondering, well, what color do I do next? Just go back and look. So after yellow comes orange. And that's how you'll get that spiral pattern. So do a half double here. I'll grab an orange. And then in that last stitch here, I'll do a half double. And then you have to do one more half double at the end to keep it square. Okay, cool. Switch hooks, chain one, and turn. And we do a half double crochet before the bead and after the bead. Got it? Super easy, right? Let's get some satisfying ASMR here with these beads on the table. Alright guys, I'm going to relocate, sit on the sofa. I think I'm going to watch a scary movie or watch some YouTube videos, and I'll come back to you when it's the same size as the other one. The other square here has, I think, 11 rows of beads. So this doesn't take long, and you can make it whatever size you want. So I'm gonna do 9 more total bead rows, and we'll be back. When I'm finishing up, I'm gonna do a row of beads and then a row of half double crochet, and then I will tie it off. If you're making this as a blanket, a lot of people do borders and things like that. I'm going to turn this into a chicken. There's, we started with that half double crochet at the bottom, so I'm just going to do a half double crochet at the top and call it a day. I'm not doing anything with the sides. So I'm going to get to work on that, and I'll meet you guys back in a little bit. If you're curious, I'm a huge horror movie fan, and I just saw Abigail the other day, and I heard that Ready or Not is another good horror movie made by the same people who made Abigail, so I'm going to watch that. I'm just going to chill, finish my little square, and I'll come back to you guys. If you're enjoying this, please give the video a like, comment below and tell me what you think, if you're going to try it, if you're going to do some sort of variation. Become a subscriber. It's free. You can become a member. There's a join button at the bottom of the video. It's as cheap as 99 cents a month if you want to become a member and get additional content and groups. We also have a Facebook group where everybody chats and posts pictures of what they're working on and all kinds of stuff. It's really fun. So check all of that below if you're enjoying this video. It really helps. In the meantime, it's time for Ready or Not and finish up this square. Amazon Prime always gets me. Do I rent it for $3.79 or do I buy it for $15? Abigail was on sale yesterday. I was able to buy it for $6 or $7 instead of renting it for $3. I don't know that I want to commit, so we'll rent it. Hello. Hey, we're crocheting at the moment. Well, here comes Hey Jealousy. Alright y'all, we are back, and for the record, Ready or Not was very strange. Kind of enjoyable. I think I liked Abigail better. Anyway, I spent the whole movie doing my second little square because I was paying attention to the movie. But they are exactly the same size. So now it's time to sew them up. So this is pretty easy to turn these two squares into a chicken. You take your yarn, and for the record, from my 50-gram skein, this is what I have left, which will be just right. So what you do is line them up however you like, and then you're gonna stitch together 3 sides. So figure out how you want it to line up, what you want to be the top, what you want to be the head, because the third side is what we're going to use to stuff the bird, and then we're actually going to flatten it down into a tail. So just choose whatever, like the least beautiful side you might want to leave open so that you can stitch it flat for a tail. Grab your yarn, you're going to need some scissors, you're going to need a little needle. I just love this kit that I hold my needles and my stitch markers on. It's this Bob Ross Happy Little Tree Mints container. It cracks me up. But make sure you have enough yarn so that you're not going to run out to stitch 3 sides together. You can have enough yarn to do all 4, but the way it lines up, you can just grab a new piece of yarn for that 4th side. So make sure you've got enough yarn for 3 sides. And be generous, a little bit extra. And then you can stitch it up however you like. There's all kinds of ways that you can, you know, sew your yarn together. I don't really know how to sew apart from what I need to do for crochet projects. So let me see. Yeah, I think I want this side to be the back because, yeah, I think that'll be perfect. So your top, as you're sewing, now this is probably backward for you, but your top left corner is going to be the bird's head. So just think about it that way. But you just take your yarn needle. I've lined this up. I'm just going to go ahead and go back and forth. I'm going under like the 2 loops on both squares, if that makes sense. And every maybe like 10 that I do, I just pull it tight. So sew the 2 squares together however you like on 3 sides. And that's it. I'll meet you at the end. We're going to start stuffing the bird and turning it into a bird. Alright, before you fill your chicken, we're going to build the little comb and the little beak on the bird. I saw a video, which I'm going to link in my description, from Sweet Softies. She has a really cool video on how to make granny square chickens. These aren't granny squares, but she has a really great comb and beak that I really like. So I'll link below to her video. It's also a really cool little pattern for a granny square chicken, which I have made one of hers, and I'll show you at the end. But I'm going to follow her pattern for how you do the beak and the comb. I just went upstairs to look at my yarn, and I grabbed a couple of yarns from Ice Yarns. I haven't used these yet. I do have a whole Ice Yarns haul if you'd like to see what I bought from them. But since this is very like light, kind of pastel colored beads, I figured maybe I could use some similar colors for the comb and the beak. They will not glow in the dark, but that's okay. I didn't want to do white, I think it'll be fun with a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to do the comb in purple, I think, and the beak in that peach color. You don't need a ton of yarn for this. And so I'm just going to sort of read her directions for how you do the comb and the beak. Okay, but like I said, she's better than me at this, so watch her video, which I'll link below. She said, starting at the upper left corner, count 8 stitches to the right and attach your yarn. And so let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm just going to go through both halves and pull my yarn through, drop the tail, and just chain to attach it. Okay. And then in the next stitch, I'm going to single crochet. That was not a single crochet. I've been doing too many projects. There we go. Single crochet in the next stitch. In the next stitch, you do 3 double crochets. Oops. This comb looks really cool. I've made 3 chickens. I'll show you at the end. And this comb is perfect. And it only takes a couple minutes. In the next stitch, you do a single crochet. In the next, you do a double and a triple. So there's my double and my triple coming right up. And then in the next stitch you do the reverse of that. So you do a triple and then a double. Good, and then you do a single crochet. And you'll get toward the corner of your project when you're doing this. Then finally I do 3 double crochets in the next stitch. And then a single crochet. I am right at my corner here. There we go. Done. And then a slip stitch at the end just to tie it off. And let me cut that and then I'll show you. See that? It's just a cute little comb for the chicken. Okay. We'll tie all our ends in here in a minute. Then you're gonna do the beak. She has a really cool beak. I've been making some various other crochet chickens, and the beak she's done is the best one for sure. I'm just gonna pull this end from the comb into the chicken so that you can see the little beak a little bit better. Okay, so for the beak, you go just 1 stitch down from the comb and pull your yarn through. Get rid of your end. You chain 1 and then single crochet into the same stitch. There we go. And then in the next stitch, you do a double crochet. Let me find. And guys, I'm aware that my angle's not the best here. Watch the video that I'm linking below. She does it really clearly. All right, so then we do a double crochet in the next stitch and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then another double crochet into that same stitch. It's going to create this cute little beak. And then to finish off, you do a single crochet into the same stitch. Okay, this is going to be cute. Check it out. It's simple, right? But it's a cute little beak, and you can kind of adjust it however you want. Because you did that chain 3. It's a little bit open. So there is our little birdie's beak and comb. Now, we need to stuff him the most of the way, and then we're gonna sew him up. I'm already so excited. Okay, I gotta get my polyfill. All right, time to turn this chicken into a chicken. I just use this polyfill. I bought it at Walmart. You can use whatever you want. And you're gonna stuff your chicken most of the way, keeping in mind we still have to sew his tail together. So you don't want it too tightly packed, but you want to get the corners and just fill them up. Okay, he's starting to look like a chicken. Okay, so then once you've filled him kind of most of the way, you're gonna wanna, is he? He's 3D now. You're gonna wanna flatten his tail down this way so that you can sew it closed. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more of my glow-in-the-dark yarn just to cover the one side. Okay, and then we'll just sew his tail right up. You have your two ends from where you did his sides. I'm going to cut that a little bit shorter, and you can just tuck them in and sew them right in. And I did like a little slip knot at the end of each one so they won't unravel. So we'll fill him a little bit more as we get close to the end, but you basically just tuck him down, start at one side, and we'll sew him. Oops, I'm doing it totally wrong. We'll sew him closed. There we go. So just try to like line your beads up a little bit so that your seams kind of match. And then I'll start at one end here. You just want to kind of make sure everything lines up. That's good. And then we'll just sew him together. I always try to start with a little bit of a knot just to make sure he's secure. Okay, and then like before, sew him up however works for you. Once I get about halfway done, I'll just pause and fill him the rest of the way with polyfill. You want to make sure you get into the little corners of his tail so it's not flat. Oh yeah. Okay, and then just sew it the rest of the way up. Okay. Then at the other end, I'll just do a little knot. And there we go. We are getting closer. Nearly done, y'all. Just weave those ends in. When you get too excited about your chicken and you realize you forgot to put his eyes on before you sealed him up, that's annoying, right? So I've been actually going back and forth about whether I want to put eyes on this one because of the beads. And now that he's sealed, I think I want eyes. So let me grab some safety eyes. I'm gonna just pop them in and see what we think, and then if I decide to keep them, I'm gonna have to open his butt up and attach his eyes. So, disclaimer for you guys, decide before you close the butt whether you want eyes or not. Let me see. I'm undecided. I just got this kit of safety eyes from Amazon as well. I will link that below too. I bet they have glow-in-the-dark safety eyes, but I don't know if I want them. I have solid black ones. I have some that look like little eyeballs. I don't know. Let me see. I feel like with the beads, it's almost distracting. You know, like it can have eyes, but a chicken doesn't have to have eyes, right? Let me see. I'm just testing. I don't know, what do you guys think? Okay, the very last step is to attach a little tail. The first chicken that I made, I didn't put a tail. The second chicken I did, and I just think the tail is super cute. So I'm gonna do a purple tail so that it matches the comb. And again, this comes from the video that I linked below from, what is her name? From Sweet Softies. So I'll link her video, but I'll show you. Okay, so to do the tail, you look at that center seam and you go one stitch over from the seam to the right. We're gonna do 3 little tail feathers. So I'm just gonna do my best here to find a spot over from the center and chain to attach. And then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you do a triple crochet into the same stitch. And then we chain 3. And then we slip stitch into the same stitch. I'll show you what it looks like at the end. It's super cute. It's just like this poofy little feather. So we'll chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Triple crochet into the same stitch. And then chain 3 again, and then slip stitch to seal it off. Okay, and one more stitch over, we do the same thing again. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, triple crochet into the same stitch, and chain 3, slip stitch. I'm just gonna chain 1 there so I can tie it off. Let me cut this out and then I'll show you what it looks like. It's super cute. Check out his little butt. It's just like 3 floofy little feathers. I feel like it completes the look. And that is our chicken. Isn't he cute? I think they're super cute. The best part is yet to come because we're gonna see if we can charge this guy in the light and then see what he looks like in the dark. So I didn't just make one chicken, I had to get him a little friend. So I made him this friend, a black chicken. This yarn does not glow in the dark. The beads do, but his little comb and his beak and his little tail, they do glow in the dark. So I think the black is super cute too. And I feel like now he has a friend, right? This is also an example of you can make them however big you want. I made this square slightly smaller, my 2 squares, and now you have a smaller chicken. So you can do whatever you want. I put eyes on him too. I put the eyes with the little irises, I guess, because they stood out better than the black ones. But I love them. And then I just thought I would show you as a bonus, I made a tiny little granny square chicken, exactly what that tutorial shows you how to do. She did some fancier granny squares. I don't know how to do those and I didn't really care. I just wanted to try. So I just did the standard granny squares with this really pretty variegated yarn from Ice Yarns. There's big gaps in it, so you can see the polyfill through it, but I don't care. And I did not give him a tail. But yeah, even if you have some just regular old granny squares lying around, you can make a cute little chicken. So this guy does not glow in the dark. You know what? His comb might. But anyway, should we charge them? Let's charge them and see if we can get them to glow for you guys. Well, I never thought I'd be filming a YouTube video while sitting on the toilet, but here we are. Also, I'm just sitting on the toilet, not doing anything on the toilet. But are you guys ready to see what these little friends look like in the dark? Get ready. Are these not the coolest chickens ever? I'm obsessed. It is pitch black in here. I just charged them under my filming lights, so they'll probably glow more if they were out in daylight. But I can't. It's totally dark in this bathroom. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? Alright guys, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I gave you an idea or two of some new things you can do. I've never seen something like this and I hope you guys try it out. If you do, tag me. Take a picture on Instagram and tag me. Nika Sarbata, my Instagram handle will be in the description. You can also tag Urban Farm Boys. We also have a Facebook page, like I mentioned. It's free. Nick and Andrew, Urban Farm Boys. Link will be below. Post pictures of your chickens in there. Like I said, you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. I've got lots of other crochet videos and lots of other videos that are not related to crochet. If you want to support us even further, you could become a member. It's as cheap as $1 per month, and it gives you additional perks depending on what tier you choose. If you click the join button below the video, it'll show you all your options if you'd like to do that. If you really want to be a supporter, if you enjoyed this and appreciate it, I am running the New York City Marathon in November. It's my dream. I've been wanting to do it forever. I've applied through the lottery for 10 years in a row without getting in. This year I am running with a charity. I've partnered with the World Wildlife Fund. It's an amazing organization doing all sorts of really cool things to help save the planet, the plants, the animals, our water, provide a clean environment in this planet that we all live on. I have to raise $3,000 for the World Wildlife Fund in order to be able to run the New York City Marathon. So if you enjoyed this, if you appreciated it, if you have a little penny or two extra to spare, I'll put that link below if you'd like to donate. All of the money goes to the World Wildlife Fund. And if I raise $3,000, then I can run the New York City Marathon. That would be amazing. I appreciate you guys. I hope you had fun. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me your feedback. Tell me if you've made something like this before. and let's chat in the comments. Let's hang out down there. So, hope everyone's doing great, and until next time, take care, guys.